Oh hi. Lüderitz, the city, the fishing and trade port on the Atlantic coast of Namibia, the administrative center of the district of the same name in the Namibian region Karas. The population of Lüderitz makes about 2,000 people. 2005. Lüderitz is on the only rocky side of the Namibian coast. Other coastline from Cunene in the north to the River Orange in the south is made by desert sands. The city is located between the Namib Desert and the Atlantic Ocean, on the stony coastal hills open to ocean winds, in the depth of the Bay of Lüderitz. The wide rocky peninsula with the same name and with a set of small bays and gulfs separates the bay from the ocean. 3 small islands, Pingvinov, Seals and the Flamingo, are in borders of the bay. The fourth island, the island of Sharks, located right in front of the city, is connected to the coast and embankment now and turned into the cape separating city port from other bays. Twelve more small islands are near the ocean coast to the north and the south from Lüderitz. They are known under the general name of Islands of Penguins, sometimes Guanavi Islands. Not on all from them colonies of penguins remained, however here still collect a significant amount of iguana as seabirds, in particular cormorants and alish, nest on all surrounding islands. Islands naked and fruitless, some bushes grow on the island of Possession, the greatest in group, which area is about 90 hectares. In the country, hidden from the sea by hills on which there is Lüderitz, the highway leaves far inland. Approximately in 10 km from the city she passes by the ghost town of Kolmanskop, founded in the place where diamonds were for the first time found. Later, when diamonds ran low, the city was left. Further the highway crosses the desert. The following human settlement, the town of Aus, is 125 km to the east. Except for the buildings of the city and the beacon pressed to each other on the edge of the peninsula, the surrounding look almost doesn't differ from that which was observed by Bartholomew Dias, who visited this coast in 1487. The Portuguese seafarer Bartholomew Dias, during the swimming to the Cape of Good Hope in 1487-1488 by the first of Europeans, landed in the bay which he called St. Christopher's Gulf. By name the flagship. Before sailing further, Portuguese established a traditional stone cross with the coat of arms ashore. This place is taken now by the name Dias Point. A sign that this coast joins possession of the Portuguese crown. The original cross for last centuries was considerably damaged by erosion, and in 1929 he was replaced with the copy. The original, disfigured by wind almost to unrecognizability, is in the Museum of Cape Town, Republic of South Africa. Now, later cartographers designated this place as Angra do Saliush, the Bay of Islands, and then Angra Pequena, the Small Bay. Throughout the next 4 centuries these places weren't visited by Europeans. The coast, which is almost deprived of comfortable harbours, except for the Bay Ulfis Bay more to the north. Both fruitless and almost uninhabited desert of internal regions of the country weren't of any interest to the European colonial states. Only in the middle of the 19th century, during short time on these coast, whalers and getters of iguana, which especially rich deposits, were developed on the island of Ichabamet. However, this boom lasted not for long, and with exhaustion of fields of iguana the coast became empty again. In 1883 in the Bay Angripaken, the Bremen tobacco dealer Adolf Lüderitz landed. Together with the partner Heinrich Vogelsang they got from the leader of local Orlam, the Dutch and African Métis who lived continental up. Joseph Fredericks the site of the coast which is spread on 40 miles along the coast and on 20 miles deep into. They based a trading station on him. For a grand about 2600 came. The leader of Orlam received from Germans £100 gold and 250 rifles. However, after drawing up the agreement explained to the seller that meant not English, 1.8 came. And certainly, Prussian miles which equal 7.5 came, and thus, the acquired site had the size of 300 by 150 came and the area of 45000 came. This cunning combination became history under the name fraud with miles. On April 24, 1884 Lüderitz managed to obtain security guarantees for the possession from the German government, and in the Bay Angripaken renamed into the Bay Lüderitz there was a small fishing settlement with the same name. It became the first link of distribution of the German colonial influence in Southwest Africa. Lüderitz bought this at first sight worthless land, hoping to find on it minerals, however careful and expensive search didn't bring result. Lüderitz went bankrupt and was forced to sell the huge manor to the German South African Colonial Society. In 1886 Lüderitz was missing during the prospecting expedition to the Orange River. At the end of the 1880th the Colonial Society, incapable as effective to direct colony, transferred it to the direct jurisdiction of the German government. Insignificant and very limited economic revival began in the tiny town of Lüderitz in 1904 when here soldiers of the subsection of the German colonial army who were at war with the risen natives of Namibia built it. Since those times the town gained ill fame thanks to the concentration camp which was built on the island of Sharks located near the coast. In this camp were held the Orlama and Anam taken together with families prisoner during suppression of their revolts. From more than 2,000 prisoners of the camp because of awful hygienic and climatic conditions only 450 people survived. Under pressure from the German missionaries working in the country the camp was closed and transferred to internal regions of the country. In 1908 on the outskirts of the town diamonds were found that caused a new powerful, though short-term economic boom. The first diamond was found by the black worker Zacharias Leveler who worked at construction of the narrow-gauge railroad, during clearing as they brought track sand. He carried it to the employer Augustus Stock who right after it together with the senior engineer Zink Nissen quickly acquired the rights for investigation of minerals in this area that made both of them millionaires. Zacharias Leveler didn't receive anything from the find. In the next years Lüderitz violently developed as the prospering trade port. The region to the south from Lüderitz, which square equaled Belgium, was proclaimed the forbidden diamond zone, access to which was severely limited. In the settlement of Kalmanskew, which arose in the desert near Lüderitz, the headquarters of the South African Diamond Mining Company Seaton. English Consolidated Diamond Mines was established. She acquired monopolies for development of diamond fields. Development of commercial production of diamonds in the region and the related inflow of gold prospectors and seekers of a fast profit created conditions for continuous economic development in Lüderitz, and he quickly turned into the modern developed city. After 1920, Lüderitz began to lose the value as places of the most profitable extraction of diamonds gradually moved on the south. Instead, in the city, commercial fishery and the related small shipbuilding began to develop slowly, and also there were small corporate enterprises which used a source of raw materials of the sheep breeding developed in the continental region of the southern Namibia. But besides, Lüderitz could offer the inhabitants little, and the same destiny as that I comprehended Kolmanskop earlier began to threaten once prospering city. That after transferring in 1943 of Seedom headquarters on the south to Oranjement fell into decay, and by 1956 was completely abandoned by inhabitants, having turned into the ghost town. Discovery of the fields of natural gas. Kudus Field. On the surrounding ocean shelf at the end of the 20th century brought new expectations to Lüderitz. Economic can be also a project of processing of seaweed which huge Massachusetts runs aground the ocean near the city. Seaweed can become a source of valuable substances for the food and perfumery industry. Can recover city economy the oyster farms which are also founded on its outskirts. Economy. Now fundamentals of urban economy are tourism and fishery. Special development was got by fishing of spiny lobsters who were exported from here to such faraway countries as Spain and Japan. Lüderitz is base of a big flotilla of small fishery vessels, and for prevention of exhaustion of local fish resources the government of the country establishes catch quotas. The Bay Lüderitz shallow and city port can serve heavy ocean vessels, and the stony bottom of the bay doesn't allow to deepen a waterway artificially. Therefore big vessels unload by means of lighters. Possibilities of port extended a little after construction of a long pier to which fishery vessels of larger sizes can be moored. By means of a conduit 130 km long, the city is supplied with fresh water from an underground drain of the seasonal Koikab River which is lost in dunes of the Namib Desert. Also the desalination plant works in the city. The city is connected with other countries, the highway and the railroad which leave from the city on the east, crossing the desert, and are joined to midland transport network of the country. The Regenboog Highway which leaves on the south connects Lüderitz to Oranjement near the mouth of the Orange River on border with the Republic of South Africa. In recent years economic development of the city considerably quickened. Especially dynamically the sphere of tourism develops, the population considerably increased. Sites. Lüderitz still considerably keeps a look in the atmosphere of times when Germany owned the country. In the city many monuments of the German colonial architecture are kept. The colonial style also still dominates in the historic center of the city, especially near streets of Ringstrasse, the Bismarckstrasse, the Bergstrasse and the Bahnhofstrasse which also kept the names from a colonial era. Mansions with the arches, towers and turrets, with penthouses and windows and niches, with the bay windows on the first floors decorated with pediments, and rooms with a transparent roof for protection against wind which blows almost constantly here form in the middle of the African desert the island of provincial Germany of the middle of the 19th century. City streets, except for several central, have no hard coating. It doesn't present particular problems to areas where almost there is never a rain. Among monuments of colonial architecture, Georg House, which is also called the Diamond Palace, is especially noticeable. It is the rich residence built in 1909 by the successful businessman Hans Gork. Now in this mansion, which was restored and arranged with period furniture of those times, the museum works. There is a legend that this, similar to the lock, the house was under construction as the residence for the German Kaiser who had to visit Lüderitz, but that visit didn't take place. Other noticeable site of colonial times is Vilsenkerke. Church on the Rock. The Lutheran church constructed in 1912 at top of the stony hill. The church with her forms, raised to the sky, represents an example of style of the English Gothic style, his vertical version which dominated during the Victorian era, but the Neo-Gothic style, not most popular in the German church architecture. The church is decorated with stained glass windows and impressive wood carving. A window over an altar, a personal gift of the German Kaiser Wilhelm II. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.